My name is Michelle.
Hi, Michelle.
What would you do if you woke up one day, opened your eyes, and realized that you can't see anything no more?
That would be so scary. Would it be instant like that, or would it happen gradually? I guess for her it's instant.
I grew up with my parents in a house with a large garden and a swing. My father spent most of his time at work, so all day I was only with my mother. She did not leave me for a minute. All corners of the furniture in our house were covered with special foam rubber.
What? I'm not sure if like chair legs are sharp, let alone dangerous. I have never hurt myself on a chair leg, especially the couch. How are you getting underneath there?
And the floor was covered with soft, fluffy carpets.
Soft and fluffy. That carpet low-key looks like it has stubble.
And there was no question of playing in the garden. I spent much time looking out of the window at the swing in the yard.
Honestly, that just seems cruel. Why have a full playground in your yard? Swing set, slide, everything. If your kid's not allowed to use it, it's like, here are the things you can't use. Here they are. Let me just tempt you with it.
My only way to get a breath of freedom was when Mom fell asleep. She slept very firmly. It seems to me that even a herd of elephants could not wake her.
Let's put that to the test.
And in the future, it played a cruel joke with her.
Wait, you didn't release elephants in your house, did you? I guess you're about to find out.
Once, on my 4th birthday, when both Mom and Dad were at home preparing gifts for me, I noticed that the front door was opened. That was my chance, so I just ran out into the street and immediately ran to the swing.
Not really the street, but go on. It's her backyard.
It turned out that they were higher than I could reach, but I managed to climb on them. My feet did not touch the ground. I imagined myself to be a bird and spread my arms like
She's
wings.
so happy.
That was a mistake. I fell and it darkened in my eyes. I remember this day in such details because it was the last day I could see.
Aw, from a swing? Like how tall were these swings? Imagine someone asking how you went blind. Oh, I fell off some swings. Did you break any bones? No. Just blind. How does that even happen? I'm extremely confused. I've been on many swings and I've never felt like it was dangerous.
My mother said that I asked her to turn on the light. She burst into tears and said that the light was already on and I did not see anything because I was blind after the blow.
Poor girl.
I didn't
Just
understand
wanna hug
what
her.
that meant. Mom said that I have a rare disease of the lens of the eye, heltatitis. It has not been studied much, and therefore no medicine exists for it. This is a congenital disease, but it intensified after a strong blow.
Sounds like some writer was on WebMD searching for diseases that can cause blindness. You know when like you have, I don't know, a headache and then you Google it and it's like, you will die in 5 days. That's why I never Google anything because it's always like the worst possible scenario and it's like,
You're having a heart attack and you're dying.
and you're like, I just have a headache and need to drink water.
Mom said that the eyes during this illness are very weak, and even the slightest draft or a drop in temperature can cause severe inflammation, and I can lose my sight forever.
Aww.
I was a child, and it scared me very much, but fortunately, according to the parents, this process can be taken under control. They bought a special blindfold.
Wait, so now some wind or chilly room can cause a person to go blind? This seems ridiculous.
Mom did not stop calming me down. She came up with fairy tales about blind princesses.
Oh, this is pretty wholesome, actually. I mean, it's probably gonna take a sinister twist because that's how these stories always go, but for the moment, let's enjoy it.
I gradually got used to the new world. My parents made a room for me in our basement.
Is this just me or these goggles she have look like VR goggles?
Equipped it with special sensors that responded to my voice.
Sensors for what? Instructions unclear.
And also, Dad gave me a new dress every month.
Our new dress is really what newly blind girls need. But hey, if it makes her happy, right? Like she's going through a lot. Whatever she needs, you should give her. Well, if he can afford it, of course.
I felt the fabric, its texture,
Aw.
silk, velveteen, velvet, linen.
Okay, I stand corrected. That's cute. So they all like feel different. That's really nice. I like that.
That made me truly happy because I remained a girl who was pleased with attention and gifts. And also, I was pampered with the most delicious dishes.
Ooh, that
over
looks
the
so
years,
good.
I have become a real gourmet. If only I knew that it would not lead to anything good. And although all my whims were immediately fulfilled,
All her whims were immediately fulfilled, except for, being allowed outside.
I begged, at least for half an hour.
Guys, she begged for at least half an hour. She is relentless, an unstoppable force. A whole 30 minutes?
But my parents over and over again said categorically, no. If I were in the room above, not in the basement, I would try to escape.
Dude, you fell off some swings and went blind. Now you want to jump out of a window? Let's dial back a little. The window is much higher than the swings. If you went blind from swings, I don't even want to know what a window's gonna do. And you can't even see what you're doing.
The room was locked with 2 locks. I heard it by sound. I got older, but nothing changed. The same gourmet food, new dresses every month.
I feel like this is a story with themes that we can all identify with. You know, trapped in your house for what seems like endless amounts of time. But on a serious note, pretty sure this is child abuse? Like not letting your child out of the house for 10 years? Not even for a walk? It seems unfair and mean.
I was sure that I was ready to go out because I wouldn't sit in this basement until the end of my life. I turned 14 and I felt that it was time to get out into the big world. At least beyond that bunker. When I once again started this conversation with my mother, she became angry and replied that it was too dangerous on the street for a blind young girl.
I kind of feel like mom has like this condition where you make a loved one sick just so you can control them. It's a thing. Munchausen by proxy? I was not expecting it to be called that, but okay.
I decided to act differently and began to prepare an escape plan. All I needed was a key, but Mom was too careful and never left it in the room when she was gone.
But where are you gonna go? You've never been outside. Where does a girl who's blind, who's never been outside, even know where to go? I'm kind of terrified. Like, I want to help her, but she's a cartoon and I know this isn't real, but I still want to help her.
Therefore, I persuaded my mother to stay with me. I said that for several days in a row I had bad dreams, and I want her to be near. Mom was touched by that, but I was ashamed to deceive her. But what would you do in my place? So, when my mother fell asleep, firmly as usual, I got out of bed without problems, without waking her, and began to look for keys. I managed to find a bunch of keys with a massive keychain. There were several keys, and among them, one stood out. One very small. I immediately understood what it was for. Mom was sleeping nearby. I heard her breathing.
Wait, is it for her? Is it for her VR goggles that are to keep her from going more blind?
I managed to unlock the blindfold.
The blindfold was locked on her face for 10 years. Like, I feel like she'd have a very bad rash. Like, don't you have to clean your face where the blindfold is? Also, why is it locked? Seems so aggressive.
I immediately covered my mouth with my hands so as not to cry out. Although the room was dark enough, but I saw a glow from a small rectangular screen on the bedside table.
Is she not blind? Okay, like I had a feeling that was leading to this and I'm still shocked.
And along the walls, there was a soft light. I didn't have time to look through the rest. Even from such a weak amount of light, I felt a strong pressure in my eyes.
I mean, yeah, you haven't opened them for 10 years.
Since that day, my life has been divided into before and after. The plan was born in my head very quickly. I only needed a few days. Within 3 days, I will remove the blindfold so that my eyes could slowly get used to the light. And then I'll take my whole bunch of keys from my mother and get out of the room onto the street.
I think she needs to call the cops. This is insanity.
I would try to get to the hospital myself and find out what was wrong with me. Was that a miraculous healing, or had my parents deceived me for all of my life?
Definitely the second. You're in an animated story on YouTube, girl.
If only I knew how everything would turn out in reality. In the first 3 days, everything really went according to the plan. Mom stayed with me at night, and I tried to get used to the weak light. There was no time left. I took the keychain, opened the door, and left the basement.
Ooh.
I remembered well the location of everything in the house, and the heightened sense of space helped me quickly find the front door. I went outside for the first time in 10 years.
I'm excited for
It
her.
was
This is
still
exciting.
dark, and it was just the beginning of the dawn. But the first rays of the sun literally burned my eyes. It was an incredible pain. My eyes began to water heavily, but inside I rejoiced. It was an amazing moment. I went out of the gate without obstacles. The car drove. I saw a man, a middle-aged man in a bright red cap.
That's the first thing you see? Okay.
I asked to be taken to the hospital. He took out a rectangular thing. There must be a phone that my mother told me about, and then dictated the address into it.
Wait, didn't she say she used one daily for her lessons? Why is she acting like she doesn't know what a phone is suddenly?
He said that he was connected to the internet, and with its help you can find out anything. He asked me to spell my diagnosis, and then he said that such a disease does not exist. A police car arrived very soon. A tall man in the uniform asked my name and asked where I live. I started to cry. We went to the police station. I could not even imagine what was waiting for me. I dictated the names of my parents, Mr. and Mrs. Blake's. I named their dates of birth. A few minutes later, I heard a policeman tell his partner that these people had never had children.
How would they know that? Is this information a police station would have? Like who has had children?
And that they tried to adopt a child.
Oh my god, they stole her from somebody else and that's why they want her to leave because everybody would know or people would recognize her. Oh my god, it all makes sense.
But they were refused because they were being treated in a psychiatric hospital. I could not believe what I heard. Would you believe it? I tried to cope with the shock.
Such a good twist. I didn't see that coming.
It turned out that they took me from the yard, from some large family from a neighboring state.
Are they well? No, they're not.
Mom and Dad cried and repeated
Correction, fake mom and dad cried. Those are not your real mom and dad.
that they just wanted to protect me because my stroller stood for days in the yard and nobody cared.
Well, that's a perfectly reasonable explanation to kidnap a child. Not?
My family was a couple of alcoholics who had 4 sons. And the worst thing was that they did not even remember that 15 years ago they had a daughter.
Okay, I thought it was gonna get better for her, but this is sounding pretty dark.
In those rare days when the mother nevertheless was cooking, the food was disgusting, but I had no choice. I was constantly hungry. There were no formal clothes. You won't believe it, but I already regretted that I don't have a blindfold because most of all, I would like to stop seeing this hell that was around.
Oh, I'm so sad.
And of course, I really missed my mom and dad who raised me. They were strange, but they really loved me and were ready for anything for the sake of my happiness.
I don't know about that. Your mom and dad had you trapped like a prisoner. I don't think that's love.
After several weeks of such a life, I complained to social services and I was sent to a shelter. That's where I am now. Yes, I know now what the internet is, what life with eyes is.
Best quote of the entire story. I know what life with eyes is. Well put. Anyways, guys, make sure to check out Dory's story. They're the original creators of this story. I've left their link in the description. I love you all so much. Stay awesome, stay sweet, and don't forget to be nice to each other. Bye-bye!